The festering problems in Australia's housing market have officially reached a tipping point. Now, I know you've heard that before, but a new research note from CLSA conclusively states the Australian housing cycle has peaked. The analysts say the country is overextending its real estate bubble. Notice how freely they're using that word bubble, because that's something the policymakers have been umming and ahhing about for way too long. And they reiterated that foreign capital is causing much of the problem. Simply put, even if Australian banks tighten their mortgage lending because they're worried about falling prices, foreign banks will continue to throw money at the Australian housing market because offshore demand, particularly from China, remains so high. The research says that cheap apartments will fall into crisis mode, and that will spread by proximity to other flats. Apartment builders will default and construction will stall, but because the housing market is so clearly split into apartments versus everything else, apparently family homes will be more or less okay for now. Now, I haven't got anywhere near enough time to go into everything that's wrong with the Australian capital city housing market, but here's a quick rant. Sydney house prices have rocketed up 64% in 4 years. 64% in 4 years. And people were worried about the prices 4 years ago. So switch those numbers around in your mouth for a second and tell me that there's nothing wrong here. The thing is, pretty much every single policymaker, politician, economist and general Australian bigwig is a homeowner. And they're all quietly chuffed to see the value of their main investment on such a tear. So the real conversation about how insane all this is never really gets fleshed out. First home buyers have been completely priced out of the market. That ship has sailed, so there's no use crying about it now. But the official position of our Prime Minister is that if you want a house, your parents need to be able to fork out $100,000 or $200,000 that's required to get your foot in the door. Are we really okay with that being the national position taken on first home ownership? Okay, yes, interest rates are at record lows and that means that debt is cheap. But pretty much everyone who makes a living looking at Australian housing data says that the capital city market is overcooked and on the way down. That means gearing up to the eyeballs with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt to throw into an asset that is likely, by all accounts, to fall in value over the next few years just isn't that attractive of a prospect. And interest rates can't stay low forever. And when they do start to come up, you'll see some seriously sweaty brows because these markets are so full of debt. Simply put, the housing market in this country is a disaster zone.